So for this production, because we're really looking at this adaptation using the hauntings as kind of our through line, one of the things we really wanted to look at with this is kind of why Dickens wrote this as a ghost story. Partly one of the reasons he did was Charles Dickens was actually supposed to write a series of papers on the work conditions of children during this time, and he ended up writing this story instead. And that was because this was written right on the cusp of the Industrial Revolution. And a lot of the things that were happening in the mechanization of the workplace caused a lot of people to be out of jobs, go into the workhouses and the poorhouses, and the conditions were horrible. And Dickens, you know, was a writer, an amazing writer of not only character, but of life. And he really put a lot of life and instilled a lot of life of what that period really looked like. So when we started looking at this novel and this story as being on the cusp of the Industrial Revolution, it seemed to be kind of a logical jumping off point for us to really look at the haunting of Scrooge as also a fear of what was coming out of the Industrial Revolution. So for this production, you're going to see a lot of elements coming out of industry and steam, clockworks, all of those things that were created in industry that would not have normally been a part of the earlier time in London. And those pieces we've used in kind of this supernatural way to help Scrooge to be introduced to the ideas of human compassion, love, friendship, all of those things. So it's very interesting that he finds it through the soulless form of industrialization to come to understand all those human emotions and human compassion. So for this production, we went into the elements of what's called steampunk. Now, steampunk is a movement that really has influenced a lot of art, literature, design elements, all sorts of things. And essentially what it is taking elements from one period that would have been in a period already and taking them and combining them in a new way to create a technology that would not have been possible at the time. The best example in literature I can give is probably H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. These were men who were way ahead of their time in terms of where they saw the world going, but they were still inside their own periods of trying to figure out how to make a submarine, how to make a time machine. So you're going to see lots of things with operating what looks like on steam power, with valves and gears and gauges and things like that. In music, it's gone in a lot of other ways. This show combines a lot of folk music with also combining musics of electronica and things that we have now today to create kind of our own path. If you want a good example of a steampunk song right now, Annie Lennox has just released her version of God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. Look it up on YouTube. It's a perfect example of what steampunk kind of looks like and what it sounds like as well.